right, the new moon in Virgo by just a few days now. So I wanted to check in though and see how it's been sort of faring for everyone. And I'm not seeing anyone here in the room yet. Uh-oh, hopefully it is okay service wise. Odd. Maybe I'll wait and see if anyone does pop in. 59 seconds. Yeah, I don't think the service is 1 second. Nope, the service is alright. Okay, there we go. I see a few people. Hello Chantal. Hello Be Sunny, Liz. You guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Hello Visa. Hi you guys. Wow, my heart's been with you. I really wanted to come live again, and it's just been so wild. But hey, it's always a reason for everything. And Crazy Horse is your name, Nat too. Wow. So, yes. How are you guys doing with the new moon Virgo? Very strong Virgo energies. Even last few days. Oh my, right? The sun. Lot here that might be culminating for a number of you. Building. A lot of building energy. So, and it is intense. And remember as well that we have Mars retrograde as well, and a number of planets here retro. So, for a number of you, there might be a lot building, but also things coming up for view, up from the past as well, is what, it could be a big theme. And I've been wanting to go live and really talk it out, but, so be it, I guess. Hello. Oh, yeah. So, no, it's funny. So many people are saying anxiety. Well, and what is anxiety? But Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury does actually rule the mind, right? So, and a beautiful thing about the moon cycle is that it will, at these sort of points, the new moon and the full moon, and that's generalization, but will accent on certain energies in a profound way where you'll become very aware of those archetypes. So, in other words, it's like when we hit that new moon in Virgo, we're really feeling very strongly the archetype of Virgo, very strongly the energy of Mercury, very strongly the energy of the sixth house. So it will come down to how you naturally sort of as well channel that energy and how it operates in your natural birth chart. So, if you, to begin with, have, as you know it, trouble with the archetype and the element of Mercury, then, it will sort of become, what a cute dog. It will become accented. Okay, so, and that's why I love following the moon cycle, because it gives you that sort of insight into, it's like a window. Okay, and you can kind of see, it's like a challenge, right? You could see it in that way. This energy archetype. How is it that I observe it as well? How is it that I perceive of this? Let's say this capacity that I hold to channel this energy in a particular way. This capacity to, it's an ability, really, right? So, oh wow, interesting. Intuition has been heightened, yeah. And hello, Jessica. Jessica, you got the notification this time. Aw. Hopefully we'll be able to jump on some more lives and readings. The extended new moon in Virgo readings are out, and they lead up into those available on the website. I know some of you have been ordering those. They are still up there and available for the new moon in Virgo to the full moon in Aries. I'm glad I pumped those out early on in the cycle here, because it ended up getting really, really crazy. And thank you guys for connecting and for your patience as well. And hanging out and hanging in there, and just know that there's a lot here that's coming up for review. A lot of, let's say, history, a lot of planets that are retrograde yet again, and Mars included, and so it will be interesting to see that full moon in Aries. It will be rather intense, but we'll talk hopefully more about that as we get closer to that date. The full moon in Aries is later in September, I believe September, very beginning, early October, and it will be accenting Aries energy, which the ruler of Aries now in retrograde, and it's in its ruling sign of Aries. So, but we'll talk more about that once we get closer to that date and that period. Yeah. So very important as well to ground. Remember that as well, right? Sometimes it can feel very intense around the new moon and the full moon, periods in the moon cycle, and really as well, any sort of major jump or shift when we see, let's say, even the sun shifting out, let's say, into any sign, it will really, you feel that. And so Lucy's asking, how do you ground? Being in nature is incredibly grounding. If you think about the element of earth and you think about grounding, right, it is sort of allowing your energy system and your energy grid to channel through into the earth. So if you think of it in that way, being in nature, being also in touch with the physical earth can be really helpful, and sort of reminding yourself that you exist on this plane, right? You have a mind, so you can think to a significant example, let's say, or you have, let's say, a heart, and you can feel things on that sort of heart-centric level. You can then, communicate and interact with others. Okay, you have that capacity as well. But then, when it comes to grounding all of that in this dimension, right, you also have that ability to interact with your environment. So sometimes we can get very caught up in our head, our heart, even in terms of energy, right? When we're working with energy, astral traveling, you can feel like you're getting swept away. You no longer know like who are and who, what, and what, and what is what, and what, and what. So, you can feel ungrounded. So it can really be helpful to channel that and reel that back into, and that really comes down to the balance of all the elements, right? So, and that's another thing, right? When we hit these lunar sort of angles, we see very clearly certain elements accented in relation to others. So, if you have a lot of an element naturally in your chart, at times when we hit that new moon in a certain element, or we hit that full moon in a certain element, it can feel really like, whoa, that really threw me off. Let's say that you are, let's say, a sun sign Pisces, right? And let's say that you have a full moon of Pisces, which we just recently moved through. You could feel like, whoa, that hit me in a really odd way. If that energy, right, in the way that it feels natural for you, is not really balanced. Okay, and you'll always know what that means for you, right? There's no like one way to. That's the beauty of your astrology chart and the ability to channel those energies. So hopefully you can still hear me with the wind. Ooh, Mars and Pisces. Mars is interesting because that's kind of like your will, right? It's your action. It's your also your impulse. So I find that actually you could really read, one's Mars rather easily if you kind of are just around them, even like physically. You could just like feel their Mars energy. It's very interesting. So yeah, you might find you resonate a lot with your Mars sign in that way. Oh yeah. Yeah. And if you're around a lot of people, remember that this is a very, very, very intense astral space as well that we're working through. So you are working, for those of you who do associate with the term of light working, you are working with a lot of energy around this time. Remember that, and it's not necessarily always your energy. You might be feeling what others are feeling, especially if you're around a lot of people around this time as well. Okay, you could be picking up on the energy field of others, and you don't necessarily have to be even physically near them, around them, to feel that. So if you are also physically around others, and you could be picking up on a lot. Oh my gosh, the dog is like jumping around there. Oh, he's off the leash. So funny. So yeah, interesting. It's a dog run area, and a little bit of a park, but then a courtyard area. So there's a little dog running around doing laps, actually. So cute. So you felt like, hi, Christina. Aww. Wow. Yeah. So if you feel exhausted, take it easy. New moon is the lowest of energy flow, right, in the moon cycle. So naturally, the energy, pace of energy movement is rather slowed. So take it easy, right? Take time to introspect as well, and especially if you are, right, feeling overwhelmed, meditation can be incredibly helpful as well. And drinking a lot of water, keeping things fluid and flowing. You guys, thank you so much for connecting, tuning in. Oh, I really would love to get into a live reading hopefully soon. Let's see, we'll see within hopefully, the next few days. But in the meantime, new moon in Virgo to full moon in Aries readings, which lead up into October, are now on the website. I pumped those out a little while back. So interesting, to see that if you are feeling overwhelmed around this time, and we'll also hopefully do some astrology talks soon as well, and we can talk more about the transits that are taking place, because there are quite a few, and 11 right there. The full moon in Aries again will be an intense one, so take it as you will. But we'll hopefully talk more again on that soon. And again, the sun will be shifting into Libra coming up in, I think, just a few days. So that'll be another shift, and we'll get to that. But in the meantime, before then, right, we'll really be hitting that very intense Virgo energy. As we sort of, when we're talking about these cycles, when, let's say, a planet does shift from one sign to another, it's not just going into the zenith degree, right, the 0 degree of that next sign. It's hitting the very tail end of the sign prior to it, so it's getting really intense, and it's sort of that chapter is a culmination, right? So it may feel intense for some in certain ways, and if it is, just remember that there is also a reason for things, right? There's a reason to why we are also experiencing certain things that we may not really fully be able to observe and appreciate until other also cycles have taken place. I'm hearing that actually. So they're it's like energy that exists within energy. And sometimes we have to just look through what we're working with, not understanding necessarily what it is that we're working with, to say that, if you feel like you're working with something very challenging here around this time, where you're like, I feel like there's a reason why I'm also here. Funny light shining right here. I feel like there's a reason why, let's say for a number of you, I'm experiencing this in this way. Siren going off right there. I feel like there's for a of you may have a premonition about something, and you feel like kind of, I'm hearing it in this way, like crazy on one hand, but then kind of, you feel like whatever it is that you're thinking is sort of appropriate as well on the other hand, but it's kind of, there is maybe the sensation of oscillation. For a number of you, if you feel like you're caught in that space, meditation can be so helpful. And I'm stepping on a really big leaf right there. So I don't know what that may be alluding to for a number of you, but it's something that you feel maybe you are, even, I'm hearing this, interesting, inexperienced with. Like you feel like, I don't necessarily have any reason to, a qualified reason to move in this direction, but I just feel guided to move in this direction. I'm hearing that in particular, and it's a little like whirlwind of it almost looks like a little mini tornado there. So I don't know what that's alluding to. For a number of you, it's like a plastic bag. But yeah, there's something that you are possibly feeling really drawn to, and the intensity of that desire maybe doesn't necessarily make sense in relation to, for a number of you, I'm hearing what you have created. I'm hearing what you have also called out in the past. Interesting. So, where are we redefining, innovating, how we also create what we create, and what we value? I'm hearing that as well, how we actually bring that to the table. So, there is a new conversation I'm hearing actually taking place, and it has to do with, for a number of you, I'm hearing your version of the story. Interesting. And I'm hearing Sagittarius very strongly here. And which is funny because Sagittarius actually rules storytelling. It does. And in addition, what you say your name is. Interesting. So, if you think about your name, that's what people know you by, right? And typically, right, people have a name assigned to them when they're born, right? So-called parents assign names to us. So if you think about the name in a symbolic way, right, there is this question I'm hearing of your conversation in relation to the space through which others may so-called know you. So I don't know what that's linked to, but that may be a particular message for a number of you. There is possibly as well a focus on activism, activism. I'm hearing that. I'm hearing it's a learning curve. And it's funny, out here it says fresh air zone. So there's something for a number of you, possibly that you're really very, very passionate about. It might be a cause, it might be something related to nature. So take it as you will. Feel free to really take this time to meditate and whatever you feel grounds you and guides you um, in a healing way. I'm hearing that as well. And remember that everybody is sort of in some kind of way moving through this experience. Thank you guys so much. Love and light to you. Enjoy this period and I'll hopefully see you guys